Black education between the wars, again, mostly centered in the North. It's forbid by law in the South, but not regarded as a serious offense until about 1800. And then educating too many was serious. On a plantation, you always wanted one or two blacks that could read, because they would be in the house and probably be entertaining the children, acting as babysitters, nannies, and the like. So you want them to be able to read to the kids. But you start educating field hands, forget it. You're getting in trouble. Early pre-college attempts. We're going to talk about the efforts of the Manumission Society. The name Manumission means emancipation from slavery. They attempted a school in Boston in 1898 in the home of a black man, Primus Hall. The Manumission Society also attempted the New York African Free School in 1787. It enrolled 40 to 60 students until the 1800s, and it grew to 500 by 1820. Other efforts followed, but I have, again, no reports as to what happened as a result of those other efforts. There were attempts at higher education which were sponsored by one of two groups. The first group was the American Colonization Society. Their aim was the education of blacks for the recolonization of Africa. We were going to teach them and then put them on a boat and send them back and then have them educate the folks in Africa. In other words, here's a degree, there's the boat, go away. Another few attempts was made by a coalition of two groups. The Pennsylvania Abolitionists, largely a white group, and the Conventions of the Free People of Color, largely a black group. Their aim was education for greater service within the American social order. The American Colonization Society began a school at Parsippany, New Jersey, another one in Hartford, Connecticut, and then came back and tried a third one in New Jersey. All failed, as the executive committee expressed disappointment over the few pupils in attendance. Gosh, we're doing all this for these folks, and they don't want to take advantage of this, so we can send them back to Africa. The Abolitionists and the Convention of the Free People of Color succeeded in establishing three institutions. Cheney State College was founded in Pennsylvania in 1837. Lincoln Institute in Pennsylvania as well, 1854. Notice that that's before the Civil War. Why did they have the good sense to name that place Lincoln University? The answer is they didn't. Originally it was Oshman Institute. After the Civil War, it was renamed Lincoln University. And finally, Wilberforce University. You may have heard of the name Wilberforce before. It was a big stop on the Underground Railway and a natural place for a college for blacks. That was in 1850. With Oberlin, and the 1835 is asterisked because that's when the first blacks registered there. With Oberlin, these were the only higher education institutions to admit blacks prior to the war between the states. Hooray, 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 the summary, that means we're almost done. A modified class system was in effect. Practical utilitarian aims were prevalent, thanks to Ben Franklin. The leaders, talking about Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, Webster, seemed pro-schooling, but education is not mentioned in the Constitution. Many educational views were expressed and new approaches tried in the wake of. More on that summary. The Academy emerges as America's dominant secondary school. The Junta and the Lyceum expand educational options for adults. Liberal arts become focus of higher education. Wow, there's more. College expansion and Western migration go hand in hand. As we move west, we build college after college after college. And we see the beginnings of educational opportunity for both men, for both women and blacks. Complaints will be handled by our cheerful staff, and we will see you when the next subperiod comes up.